Trump's back in office, and he's already making moves on Social Security that could put more money in seniors' pockets. But will these changes actually happen? And what do they mean for the 67 million Americans who depend on these benefits? If you're wondering whether your Social Security check is about to get bigger, or if you're planning for retirement and need to know what's coming, this video breaks down exactly what Trump's proposing, what it would cost, and most importantly, what the realistic chances are of it actually becoming law. We'll cover the three main changes being discussed, who wins and who loses, and why some experts are calling this the most significant Social Security reform attempt in decades. Let's start with what's actually on the table. Trump's Social Security agenda centers on three key changes, and understanding these is crucial because they work together as a package. First, eliminating federal income taxes on Social Security benefits. Right now, if you're single and your combined income exceeds $25,000, or married filing jointly with income over $32,000, you pay federal taxes on up to 85% of your Social Security benefits. Trump wants to eliminate this entirely. Here's what that looks like in real numbers. If you're receiving $2,000 monthly in Social Security and have $40,000 in total annual income, you currently pay federal taxes on about $20,400 of your benefits. Under Trump's plan, that tax disappears completely, potentially saving you $2,000 to $4,000 annually depending on your tax bracket. Second, he's proposing to eliminate the income cap on Social Security taxes for high earners. Currently, you only pay Social Security taxes on the first $160,200 of your income in 2023. Someone making $200,000 pays the same Social Security tax as someone making $2 million. Trump wants high earners to pay Social Security taxes on all their income. Third, and this is where it gets interesting, he's suggesting using these additional revenues from high earners to fund benefit increases for current recipients. The specifics aren't fully detailed, but early discussions suggest this could mean cost of living adjustments beyond the standard formula. Next, here's what changed from his previous presidency and why timing matters. Trump's approach to Social Security is markedly different this time around. During his first term, he mostly focused on protecting existing benefits. Now, he's proposing expansion, and there are three reasons why this shift matters. First, the demographic reality. By 2030, all baby boomers will be 65 or older. That's 73 million people, and they vote at higher rates than any other demographic group. Politicians ignore this constituency at their own peril. Second, the trust fund timeline. The Social Security trustees report that the trust fund will be depleted by 2034 if no action is taken. That means automatic benefit cuts of about 23% across the board. Trump's proposals are positioned as a way to extend the trust fund's life while actually improving benefits. Third, the revenue opportunity. The income inequality gap has widened significantly since Social Security's current structure was established. In 1983, the cap captured about 90% of all wages. Today, it captures only about 83%. There's simply more money at the top that isn't being taxed for Social Security. But here's the political challenge. Any Social Security reform requires 60 votes in the Senate to overcome a filibuster. Republicans currently hold 53 seats, meaning they need at least 7 Democrats to support the plan. Historically, major Social Security changes have required bipartisan consensus, and that's been increasingly rare. Now this is where it gets interesting. Let's talk about who actually benefits and by how much. The math on who comes out ahead reveals some surprising outcomes. The biggest winners are middle-income retirees. If you're a married couple with $60,000 in annual income, including Social Security, eliminating the tax on benefits could save you $3,000 to $5,000 annually. That's meaningful money for people living on fixed incomes. Higher income retirees also benefit, but the impact is more complex. Someone with $100,000 in retirement income might save $8,000 annually from eliminating the tax on benefits. However, if they're still working and earning above the current cap, they'd pay significantly more in payroll taxes. Here's a specific example. A 55-year-old earning $300,000 annually would pay an additional $8,700 per year in Social Security taxes under the proposed changes. But when they retire, they'd save money from not paying taxes on benefits, and their Social Security payments would be higher due to the increased contributions. The losers are primarily high earners who are decades away from retirement. They'd pay more in taxes now, but wouldn't see benefits for years. There's also a question about whether higher earners would receive proportionately higher benefits, which gets into complex actuarial calculations. Small business owners face a particularly interesting situation. They'd pay more in self-employment taxes on income above the current cap, but they'd also benefit from the elimination of taxes on benefits when they retire. Here's what most people missed in the initial coverage. 3 significant issues haven't gotten much attention, but they're crucial to understanding whether this plan is realistic. First, the revenue math is trickier than it appears. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits would reduce federal revenue by about $185 billion over 10 years. The revenue from eliminating the income cap would bring in approximately $1.3 trillion over the same period. That sounds like a net positive, but here's the catch. Those new revenues go into the Social Security Trust Fund, while the lost tax revenue comes out of the general fund. This creates a budget problem. The federal government would need to find $185 billion elsewhere, likely through spending cuts or other tax increases. That's a political challenge that could sink the entire proposal. Second, there's the benefit calculation question. Social Security benefits are based on your highest 35 years of earnings. If high earners start paying taxes on all their income, do they get credit for those higher contributions in their benefit calculations? If yes, the long-term costs could be enormous. If no, you're essentially asking high earners to pay for benefits they'll never receive, which creates constitutional and political problems. Third, state tax implications vary widely. Some states don't tax Social Security benefits at all, while others follow federal guidelines. If federal taxes disappear, but state taxes remain, the benefit is reduced. And some states might see this as an opportunity to start taxing Social Security benefits for the first time. Let's look at what the experts are saying about realistic timelines. The policy community is divided on both the merits and the feasibility of these proposals. Supporters argue that the plan addresses multiple problems simultaneously. It provides immediate relief to current retirees, extends the trust fund's life, and makes the system more progressive by asking high earners to contribute more. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget estimates the plan could extend the trust fund's solvency by 15 to 20 years. Critics point to several concerns. The American Enterprise Institute argues that removing the income cap without proportional benefit essentially turns Social Security into a welfare program rather than a contributory insurance system. They worry this could undermine political support for the program long term. The timeline for implementation is also challenging. Social Security changes typically require at least 18 months of lead time for systems modifications. The Social Security Administration's computer systems are notoriously outdated, and implementing these changes would require significant technological upgrades. Most experts agree that some version of these changes is likely necessary. The question isn't whether Social Security needs reform, but whether this particular approach can garner enough political support. The betting markets and political analysts give Trump's plan about a 40% chance of passing in some form. That's higher than most Social Security reform proposals in recent years, largely because of the political pressure created by the approaching trust fund depletion. Now let's talk about what this means for your personal planning. If you're currently receiving Social Security, the potential tax elimination is the most immediate impact. But don't make major financial decisions based on proposals that aren't yet law. For those planning retirement, the key insight is that Social Security reform is becoming increasingly inevitable. Whether it's Trump's plan or something else, the 2034 deadline creates political pressure for action. The smart move is to plan for multiple scenarios. If you're a high earner still working, consider the possibility of increased payroll taxes when making financial decisions. It might make sense to accelerate retirement contributions or consider Roth conversions while your current tax situation is predictable. For those in their 40s and 50s, the benefit increases from higher contributions could be significant. Someone currently earning $200,000 who pays Social Security taxes on all their income for the next 15 years could see their monthly Social Security benefit increase by $500 to $800. Small business owners should particularly pay attention as they'd face the double impact of higher self-employment taxes. However, they'd also benefit from the elimination of taxes on benefits, which could offset some of the additional costs. Here's what to watch for in the coming months. 3 indicators will tell us how serious this proposal is and whether it has a realistic chance of becoming law. First, watch for detailed legislative language. So far, we've mostly seen broad outlines. When Trump's team releases specific bill text with detailed implementation timelines, that's when we'll know they're serious about moving forward. Second, monitor Republican unity. If significant numbers of Republican senators express concerns about the fiscal impact or the complexity of implementation, that's a red flag for passage. Trump needs almost complete Republican support plus several Democrats. Third, pay attention to the Social Security Administration's response. If they start requesting additional funding for systems upgrades or begin preliminary planning for implementation, that suggests the administration believes passage is likely. The most realistic timeline for implementation, if the proposal passes, would be 2026 at the earliest. That gives time for legislative process, systems development, and public education. Let me wrap this up with what you need to know. Trump's Social Security proposals represent the most significant reform attempt in decades, with the potential to eliminate taxes on benefits while asking high earners to contribute more. The math suggests current retirees and near retirees would benefit substantially, while high earners would pay more in the short term but potentially receive higher benefits later. The political reality is that some form of Social Security reform is becoming unavoidable as we approach the 2034 trust fund depletion. Whether it's this plan or something else, change is coming. For your planning, the key is flexibility. Don't make major financial decisions based on proposals that aren't yet law, but do consider the possibility of both higher taxes on high earners and tax-free Social Security benefits when thinking about retirement strategies. The next 6 months will be crucial in determining whether this proposal gains traction or joins the long list of Social Security reform plans that never made it to a vote. What's your take on these proposals? Are you currently paying taxes on your Social Security benefits? Or are you worried about higher payroll taxes if you're a high earner? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, subscribe for more updates as this story develops.